Hello once again folks, Mr. Kraken here, bringing you something a little bit different. This time it's how to edit Altis Live. This is the reason why I haven't made any videos lately. It's because I've been building a kick-ass Altis Live server file, which will be going live very, very soon. But for now, I'm going to show you how to put in a surrender action, as you can see here, with my SWAT guy staring at us. Oh no, he's not. But anyway, someone asked for this on the altisliferpg.com forums, which is now live. So if you want all the latest updates, information, there's loads of scripts on there, show you in a minute. But get over there, sign up to the forums, and donate to Tonic. But they asked for it, and I gave them little bits and pointers, and now I'm going to give you a video of exactly how to do it. So if I press Shift and G, he will unsurrender, take his weapon back out, and press it again and he'll surrender again. Now this is handy for the roleplay environment. It adds a bit more to it than just, you know, making them go prone or whatever, because you can have people just stood there all compliant, and then you can say, give me all your money, drop your weapons, blah blah blah. So without further ado, let's take a look at the coding. After I show you the greatest tools that you will need for editing, well, anything really, anything code related, this is like top recommendations. Obviously, first of all, this is the official Altis Live website now. Tonic started this up a short time ago. Already a hub of information. Get on here, get registered, get looking at all the forums. I'm quite often in this one, as you can see over here. I'm posting. But the next tool you're going to need is this, the Holy Grail. This is Bohemia's official wiki with all of the possible actions, functions, things like that you could need. So if you want, if you've heard of something and you want to look into it more, then obviously come here, then go to the forums from there saying, I tried this, it didn't work, blah blah blah, please help. And the next tool you're going to need, or that I thoroughly recommend, is Agent Ransack. It's a free tool. It works a hell of a lot better than Windows native search thing. You can search for certain text strings in files, and it's just so good, because you can find all the instances of all the files, so you can examine how a function works. So rather than just going onto a forum and saying, look, someone make this for me, I can't be asked, or I don't know, I'm dull, look yourself. Say for instance you wanted to put in a restraint action for rebels, so they can restrain people and kidnap them, then you'd use Agent Ransack to search within the mod files for restrain, and then copy all of the instances of that and change it to, you know, kidnap or whatever. That's how you do it. You search with that, and then you edit with Notepad++. The reason for this is you can get syntax highlighting for Notepad++, and it's easy, it's lightweight, you can split views, things like that. So, as I mentioned, you can get syntax highlighting from Armaholic. This is by Nicholas and Gossamer Solid and Sanjo. I've got it loaded up, however, you know, not totally necessary, but it can be a help to some people. And there you go. All of the links for all of these pages will be in the description of the video. And let's actually get into Notepad++. Now we're going to affect 3 files here. The first being functions.h, which is slap bang there, right in your initial mission folder for Altis Life. If you're wondering about these exclamation marks and ticks, that's just because I run SVN versioning software, so I know what I've got live and what edits I've made, and I can check them out as I update the server. So it's all nice and tidy, and I don't go crazy with it and totally break it, and I can always revert. That's something that's just my personal thing, thanks to another editor of Altis Life said you should try this out, and I did, and it's a great help. So anyway, we're not caring about that in a minute. Functions.h, and in functions.h, what we're going to do under actions, and this is a clue straight away. It says file core actions, so that's in the core folder, subfolder actions. But this reduces the name so that the game knows what it is. And we got here class surrender, open bracket, close bracket, semicolon. You're going to want to put that in. Save that file, and then we go to, well, we'll start with that. So we've said there's going to be a file called surrender in core /actions. So we'll go to core actions. Now this is the naming protocol for the files. If it's in functions.h as a class, you need to have fn underscore for it to be read properly. So we got fn underscore fn surrender dot sqf. We'll open that up, and here we have, I've already done it. This code will be, along with the video on the Altis Life RPG forum. I'm not going to put it on with the YouTube video, but you can see what it's explaining here. So just whenever you're making a folder, whenever you're making a file, always title it. Tonic's done this with all of his files, which is great, and it really is one of the most well instructed and linked mods that I've seen, because there's loads of mods and scripts out there that are really badly coded and you can't make head nor tail of it. So if something breaks or it's causing lag, you can't see where certain functions could be changed because it's so messy. But Altis Life is really good. So I've actually named this one really simply. Normally, for live server, if you've made it yourself, then it's always a good idea to always put in author Mr. Kraken, file name, just in case. You never know when you might need this, because if you accidentally save it something else, or you want to make a copy and you save the wrong one and you don't change it, and it gets very confusing, you can just search for fn surrender or whatever the file name is. So the next thing you're going to want is description, and places player into a surrendered state. So I'm now going to get rid of surrender action. Now I'm not going to show you the animation viewer, because it's really easy. Go into the editor, start a new mission file, just place a unit down and press preview. When you hit escape, you'll see animation viewer, and you can have a look at all the different animations. Not all of them will work exactly how this works, because some of them are actions or whatever, and it gets you trial and error basically. But anyway, so we're going to use variables for this. So what we do is player set variable surrender true. So when this script is called, it sets the surrender to true. Simple as. While surrender is false, do this. Play move, then the animation name. Now this Bohemia really did name these strangely. I'm sure it makes sense to them. And if I took the time to actually look through the naming conventions, I could probably figure everything out. But it is just ridiculously long. So yeah, I'm going to supply these for you, because you can't really type that in. So they're in this file, and they obviously will be on the Altis Life RPG forum. So what we're doing here is telling the game to play this move, this animation, on the player. If we didn't have that out, it wouldn't do anything. It'd be bugged because it doesn't know where to play that animation and who to play it on. If you wanted to do it on a unit, you'd obviously change it to, you know, Frank, play move, blah blah blah. Obviously you'd have to name the AI Frank. So moving on, check if they're alive. I do this in here as well as the actual key handler. We'll get onto the key handler, but you just double checking things just to make sure, and if they're dead then it sets it to false and job done. If exclamation mark, if not alive. Just explain that, sorry. This is quite hashed together. If I was doing this text based, then it would be easier to understand. As this video, it's a show and tell sort of thing. So then once that's all done, player play move now. This is the out animation. So put your hands up in the air, wave them like you just don't care. Ooh, hello. Did we move forward or is the vehicle? Click, click, click. So anyway, yeah, so if we hit Shift G, and my game's bugged. No! I think that would have been the alt tabbing. Never mind. Damn it. Ah, there we go. So we hit Shift G, now he comes. That's the out animation. That's the in animation. And the out. There we go. Nice and simple. Also, if I drop my weapons, up he goes, down he goes. Jobs are good. Right, back we go. So that's essentially it. But how do you get this to call? Quite simply, the key handler. Oops. This is the main key handler for Altis Life. As you can see, monotonics folders, all nicely annotated. And if we go down, I've set this as Shift G just because there's quite a few big Altis Life communities that had this before Tonic put in the robbing key for Shift G. So what I've done in the Shift R, which is normally just for the cops restraining, you can see this here, the if player side equals west, blah blah blah, restrain action, that handles that. But then there's another one, if player side equals civilian, do the knockout action, which is the robbing. So that makes it nice. And so if someone comes from one of those servers, say it's too laggy or whatever, and they find your server and they hit Shift G, they're going to go straight away find that it goes to surrender. Ignore this, I'm playing with this stuff. But surrender, here we go. Surrender, Shift plus G, case 34. On the Altis Life RPG forum, I have put the key allocations for all of the keyboard keys. I wouldn't recommend using a lot of the main ones because you might get conflicts with actual ARMA commands. Stick to stuff that's not used, or like the numpad stuff you can sort of get away with. But case 34 is the G key. So first of all we need to put in if Shift key is pressed as well. Shift key is defined at the top along with Control and Alt. So if we wanted to make it Alt, we change that to underscore Alt, so it'd be Alt G. But if Shift is pressed when this is initiated, then handled equals true. But then we also put in if Shift then. That means if Shift is pressed when it's pressed with G, then we do this inside these two brackets here. Then we put in more conditional checking. if vehicle player equals player, which means if it's a player. If it's a vehicle, it won't do it. So we move on. And basically means just and. And if player restrained equals false. And animation state isn't incapacitated. And isn't tased. Then we do the following. Then we get the variables again. Da ba da ba da ba da, da ba da ba da ba. So if player surrender equals false, then player set variable surrender false true. Else call the surrender script that we just written. Fn surrender. Then that initiates the animations. So it does the switching and checking to make sure that you're doing it all right, and it knows where it is. That's why you use variables. So it knows that it's in that position or that position, because you've got a variable set saying, okay, they've surrendered. So if they are surrendered and they press Shift G again, they unsurrender. Okay. Thank you very much for watching, people. As always, if you've enjoyed this video and you found it informative and educating, please hit the like button, share it on your social media, and of course subscribe. I promise within the next week there will be some gaming videos. I am very, very sorry I haven't uploaded anything in a while. I promise everything will be back on form very, very soon. But for now, Mr. Kraken signing off. Tatty bye.